I'm expecting to be a millionaire by the time I'm 50.
What would you do if you were starting out again then? Or what about the person that's a similar age to you, trying to quit their job? What journey would you say is the most optimal?
Yes, figure out why you're getting going. 22-year-old version of me would have said, I want to make as much money as I possibly can.
Yeah.
That's not enough. That's not it. You need to anchor a reason. Why?
You've
What
got
would
all
that...
this stuff going on, multiple income streams you're trying to build up. Your head's probably got 1,000 things going on. But how are you doing?
Yeah, man. It's tough, man. It's tough. Now, if it all goes tits up and I have to go get a normal job again and Claire has to go back into the system, and then I've got all of these people that have been inspired along the way to go, shit, and I don't want to ruin their dreams. That's something that I have to live with a lot.
Do you think you know what it is? Why you feel the constant need to have to, I guess, prove yourself, prove your success, prove your worth?
This is nuts. Same drive.
That's so true. People don't talk about that. Like, I wish I started earlier. Yeah, but you weren't that person that was ready to start when you were earlier.
That's it.
And now you've built up all the skills and the perseverance and the confidence that you need to now excel your success in the next 8 years, or the next 10 years. What would you say to the person that's your age now that thinks they're too old to get started?
Yeah,
missed the train?
This is it. This is my driving factor. Again, I look at what you did with Simon, and if he had come to me and said, "What was your dream?" My dream would be to tell 40-year-olds to get their head out of their ass, because it's exactly that. We've got people. Since I got going with my challenge and everything that we've been doing, I've documented it all to show people that I'm just a few steps further down the road than you. That's all it is. But I am literally the every person with mortgages and an overdraft and debt and unfinished loft projects and a car that isn't good enough. And all it takes is the washing machine to go wrong, the car to go wrong, and a flat tire or something like that. And that's your budget fucked for the next 2-3 months. There's so many of us out there. And I just want to show these people I'm only a few steps ahead of you. And since I've got going, TikTok affiliate has come onto the scene. That wasn't on the scene in September 2022, because I reckon I probably wouldn't have even done Amazon. I'm glad I did Amazon, and I love Amazon. But if TikTok affiliate was around, I was the guy on camera, right? That would have been me. I probably would have thrown it all into that. We've got people making money and they're in their mid-60s on TikTok affiliate. There really isn't an excuse anymore. It's just this mindset that TikTok's the place where people do dances. That's what most 40-year-olds think. You'd be amazed, mate. I was away. Where was I? It was last week. It wasn't Dubai. I was on... Oh, that's right. I went out with my wife and we went to like a Tina Turner tribute band. And we saw a few people there and we were having a general chat and we started talking about what I was doing, and there was mutual friends, but then there was other friends, and people were like, oh, TikTok, that's just a place where people do the funny dances. And you go, no, that hasn't been that since lockdown. But there are generations out there that need second jobs and they still think, I need to drive an Uber. I need to walk dogs. I need to show people that the internet is a place to make money in your 40s and up. And that's what I want to do. That's what I'm determined to do.
Yeah. So what made you pick the, you started with Amazon and obviously, and then the TikTok, it wasn't TikTok affiliate at the time, but you started with TikTok doing your personal brand.
Yeah.
What made you pick them? Obviously, there's a lot of ways you can make money. There's a lot of ways you could have quit your job. What made you pick them?
Yeah, it's a great question, actually. I picked TikTok because no one else in my circle was on it. Same sort of thing. I was 42. None of my friends
your
or
circle,
family.
you mean friends?
Yeah, my friends. Yeah, my family. So I'm still one of the younger ones. I'm in a big family down in Brighton.
You were telling me yesterday.
Yeah, my mum had 5 siblings and all of them had multiple kids.
Yeah.
I've got cousins and second cousins coming out my ears down south. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But none of them were on TikTok. None of them. And that's why I called myself Goodbye Poor, Hello Rich. I wasn't Des Hamilton on there. People thought my first name was Rich for like 6 months. People still say, oh, Rich Hamilton. I'm like, no, that's not my name. So I went on TikTok because I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone. When I first set up the Facebook group, I did it under the name Joe Parker. God knows why. It was just I wanted to do it all under the radar, just in case if it did go wrong, it wasn't embarrassing. Because I think that's one of the other things that people suffer from. It's embarrassing, isn't it? Especially now, if you're selling stuff on Amazon and people don't really understand it, it's easy to poo-poo. It's easy to run it down. So a lot of people keep it secret. So they join these communities because they haven't got anyone to talk to about it.
And then they don't have accountability.
Exactly, mate. Yeah, but it can be a lonely road, can't it?
So you touched on TikTok affiliate. So let's what would you do if you were starting out again then? Obviously, you know the road that you took.
Yeah.
But what about the person that's a similar age to you, trying to quit their job? What journey would you say is the most optimum?
Yeah,
the fastest way to get to 100K?
It's a great shout. It's a great shout. And there's something that you said to me that always rings true. It's your 80-20. You've got to think about what it is you're happiest doing. If you're happy being in front of a camera, if you're happy playing with gadgets, and that's the beauty of TikTok Shop and TikTok affiliate stuff. We've got cameras and editing stuff on our phone now that simply just wouldn't have been a thing. So when you're in your 40s and 50s, it's more a case of just enjoying the gadgets rather than doing anything new. But if you're an extrovert who's outgoing, then I would say TikTok Shop affiliate all day long, every day. If you can knock out 3 posts a day, and that sounds mammoth to start with, but again, you're working your hardest and your longest for the littlest amount of money. Eventually, 3 a day is a doddle. My wife's been doing it for 3 months. She can do 10 a day now, which is crazy. But I would certainly say TikTok affiliate is worth looking at if you're happy to put your face on camera, or if you're confident in telling a story without your face on camera, which is utterly achievable as well. But again, if you're not that extrovert and if you're not really comfortable with being on camera, I still swear by Amazon FBA. Amazon FBA is such a great model.
How much do you think you need to start it these days?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. The days of 200 quid are long gone. Unless you do a used books exercise, but even then, I've always said, now looking back and completing the challenge, if it was just an Amazon-only challenge, I would have failed in 2 years. Hands down. It would have needed to have been at least 3, and it probably would have had a cash injection of some point or some.
3,000 to start.
Yeah.
That's a tough gig, turning 200 into 100,000 with Amazon. Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It was the other things that bolstered it up. But I would say whatever it is, there are so many online income streams at the moment. So many. Even Amazon itself, there's so many models of Amazon selling now, isn't there? Find the thing that you enjoy. You've got to enjoy it. I loved it. I used to look at the retail arbitrage like a treasure hunt. I used to love it. And then making videos about it as well. But be very careful about putting too much on your plate at any one time. What you said to me, you said, right, you've got to figure out, are you going to do your personal brand 80% of the time, or are you going to do your Amazon and Amazon 80% of the time? Because one's got to be 20% and one's got to be 80, mate. And that was so true.
I just told you how good you were at it, didn't I?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
And I realised
really
then,
picked up on it. You know, I knew you knew anyway, but I
Yeah.
wanted to reinforce it even more from the outset of how good you are. I
Well,
was
the-
like,
the
mate,
Amazon
please
stuff-
focus on that if you love it. 'cause
this is it,
that
mate.
is it.
And
you know?
it was, because at the time, it was a 50-50 thing.
Yeah.
And I had to realise that I had to sacrifice the Amazon selling because it was the personal branding that was bringing in the more income streams.
And that's what people don't talk about. When I had Ben Alistair on a few episodes ago, highly successful guy, making tens and tens of thousands of profit a month, I would guess. And we spoke about this, right? We said people don't talk enough about it gets worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
So like if you carried on with your Amazon initially, you know, I don't know the reality of this, but maybe, you know, let's say you didn't start TikTok at the time and you focused 80% of your time on TikTok or the podcast, but you were already just starting that momentum, you earn a little bit of money from Amazon. It's going to get worse before it gets better. You may not earn money from TikTok or YouTube for 6 months or a year, but if you're going into something, I believe that you really love, that you can stay consistent with, do it at a high level, it's going to give you much better returns in a 3 or 5 year cycle.
Yeah.
That's what I meant when I said that to you.
Yeah. And it rang true, mate. It rang true.
Yeah.
The podcast wasn't even on my radar when we met.
Yeah.
I started it about 3 months later, I think. It was, it's dead. You're dead right. You're dead right. And yeah, my Amazon selling probably did suffer. And a lot of people that were invested in my journey saying, well, what about your Amazon numbers? What about your Amazon numbers? And I used to have to say, no, my challenge was never an Amazon challenge. It was an income stream challenge. And I found money that way, which I find easier. So we made, my wife Claire, her full-time job became the Amazon business. So we kind of still did both, but it wasn't a me journey anymore. It was a family journey. And and we kind of just pulled our resources together. But yeah, fascinating.
Is there any things that real challenges that stand out for you that you had on your journey? Because it sounds glamorous in a way. I know you didn't mean to it sound like that. It sounds glamorous. 200 to 100,000. He's doing great now. He's got these multiple income streams. It can't have been easy.
No.
What is there anything that really stands out to you, a major challenge that you got over?
I mean, when it comes to the day-to-day, the monotony, it's not always
getting boring.
Yeah, it is
People don't
boring.
talk about that enough.
No, they don't. It is boring. It is boring, and sourcing, You don't just turn on the computer, click a few buttons, and then all of a sudden you've got some deals. And this concept of having a sourcing VA for things like online arbitrage, nonsense. It's nonsense. You had to come to terms every step along the way that what you're hearing is entirely subjective from everyone else. I was so lucky with the network that I built, with the podcast. Tom Parkinson was a great one. He would say, just ring me up. The beautiful thing about networking is if you do it right, someone else has got the answers. And yeah, he's right. He's right. But everyone on like YouTube, when you're scaling up, get a VA to do your sourcing. No, don't do that. Get a VA to do your bleeding admin. Because if a VA is doing sourcing, you can guarantee there's another 500 VAs doing the same sourcing. And then effectively it just becomes a fancy leads list. But if you can find someone to do the mundane stuff, the bookkeeping, the inventory management, bloody hell, yeah, the purchasing, that is all so much more labour intensive. That is for a low wage, so it frees up your time to do the things that brings the value in. The other challenge is this concept of scaling. It is the concept of scaling. I find everyone I talk to about Amazon selling, their biggest issues are sourcing and scaling. And when they say scaling, the first question I always ask them is, well, what are you scaling to? What are your goals? And they don't know. They just know they want to grow their business. And you go, well, you've got to know what you want to grow it to. What do you want for your business? Do you want £10,000 a month? Do you want £20,000 a month? Do you just want enough that you can free up some time? What's your objective? Is it time or is it money? Now, how much money? Right, and how much money are you making now? So how much money do you need on your scale-up journey? How much deadline are you giving it to? Because if you don't know any of those things, you don't know what you're scaling to, and then you can't reverse engineer it. They were a lot of the challenges I had, coming to terms with all of that. But mostly, mate, it was the mental thing. Again, the fact that I still can't see myself as a success. I still feel like I'm proving myself, proving to myself something. I still feel like I'm a fraud in certain ways. That when one day the bubble's going to burst and people realise, actually, hang on a minute, maybe he's just got lucky through his mouth. Loads of that. It feels like I'm still just trying to provide people more worth. I know it's not. I know it's wrong. But that's still in my head a lot.
You interviewed Rob Moore the other day. Highly successful guy. You know, big influence. Probably quite intimidating to, initially meet him.
Yeah.
For most people.
Yeah.
Did you feel a fraud when you were around him?
No, I didn't actually. That's a really good point. No, I felt like I was someone that he needed to speak to that had a different angle. And I didn't get nervous. I was kind of nervous about the day, but actually meeting him was something I was actually looking forward to, taking on the challenge. Like I said to you, he said to me, Des, are you going to bring it? And I said, mate, no, this isn't the show where we bring it.
Yeah.
What I want to do is have a lovely chat with you about your journey, because it's ridiculously inspiring.
Yeah.
And what I like to do on my show is bring out the human side, like you're doing. Bring out the human side. The numbers that's fine, but everyone wants actually the story, because that's what's relatable. It felt like Rob hadn't had anyone that could make him relatable, and everyone can do that. Everyone's got a personal story. Rob, at the end of the day, he's still doing it for his family. He's still trying to protect himself from various governments that could potentially take his wealth away. So I get it. I get it. The whole point of Rob doing what he's doing is so he could protect his parents. His dad had a breakdown, and Rob felt responsible for making his dad have a better life. So he kind of got to work. It made him grow up, essentially. And I mean, that's all on his website. That's nothing that I learned secretly. So I read his website and went, right, that's it. That's the guy. So no, it was, yeah, you're right. I didn't feel like a fraud there. But in the podcast thing, it's the thing that I'm comfortable with.
Yeah. And you talked there about, I'm the same as you. I want to actually connect with the person on here. So I just want to ask you a question which you can answer in any way. You've got all this stuff going on, multiple income streams you're trying to build up. Your head's probably got 1,000 things going on. But how are you doing?
Yeah, man. It's tough, man. It's tough. I feel like I've just been chasing. And I sat down with my business coach a couple of weeks ago, and I said to him, right, I'm getting a bit anxious because I'm waiting for that to go off and wait that and that and that and that. And he sort of sat down and went, well, how much money are you making at the moment? And I sort of talked him through it. I said, well, we're comfortable. We're making more now than we've ever made. Everything's going good. This one in 3 months should scale up to there. That one should scale up to there. That one should scale up to there. And he went, why can't you see the bigger picture? He went, now imagine if I said that to you. What would you say to me? And I think that's the biggest problem. I just can't see yet that everything I've done has been building to something big. And we are having the best Christmas we've ever had here. I don't have a job. We literally went to Dubai last week and I could afford it. You know, we overspent completely. And I spoke to my social media manager and said, I need a couple of sponsorship deals. Wallop, we got them. Dubai's been paid for. It's nuts. It was £35 a drink, but yeah. I got home and I looked through my camera and I found a video that I'd filmed that I don't remember doing. And I'm at this bar. I found a quiet corner and I'm filming myself with the Dubai skyline in front of me. Honestly, mate, and I'm pouring my heart out on this thing, saying how I don't feel worthy, how I need to anchor this in me with this backdrop behind me, that I am enough.
TikTok or just a random video?
This was just a random video, but I'm going to put it on, on my camera. I'm going to put it on my YouTube because I feel like I need to share it. Talking about the poverty, talking about the vulnerabilities, talking about the fact that I actually got invited out there to be part of a business venture because there's value in me. But it's hard, man. I do feel the pressure. Like I say, because my wife's left her job. She had a 25-year teaching career. She left because of me. My kids are seeing what happens when you break out of, I'm not going to call it the matrix, but you would break out of normal life. Now, if it all goes tits up and I have to go get a normal job again and Claire has to go back into the system, and then I've got all of these people that have been inspired along the way to go, shit, and I don't want to ruin their dreams. That's something that I have to live with a lot, and I've got to come to terms with.
Do you think you know what it is? Why you feel the constant need to have to, I guess, prove yourself, prove your success, prove your worth?
No. No, I don't. I think a lot of it is hardwired resentment to the rich and successful that I've always had.
You still got that, even though you're now classed as one?
No. This is the thing. Outwardly, no. But every now and then I get challenged on something and I realise, oh shit, that's still there. I was talking to Jack, who had a Lamborghini, and I must have scoffed. I must have done something.
He's young as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 20 odd. Yeah, and he said, if you were to see me driving down the road, what would you think? And I instantly thought, knob. Instantly. And he said, well, what if I'm driving that car? And he said, like a Fiesta. And I said, yeah, no problem. And then he said, well, why am I a different person depending on the car that I drive? And I said, mate, you've got me banged to rights here. You've got me banged to rights. It's my issue. It's a resentment that I've got for no reason other than I can just assume it's jealousy. It's got to be jealousy, right? And here I am, because I've been slagging off Dubai, blah, blah, blah. There I am in Dubai, loving it. I can't wait to go back. It's because I had this preconceived idea that was wrong about Dubai, because I've seen people younger than me, more successful than me, go there and enjoy it. So I think I've got a lot of work to do for the subconscious resentment that I've still got. Probably through decades of growing up poor while while lots of other people lived a better life than I did. And it's wrong. And I know it's wrong. But yeah, I think I've still got to work on that. Have
you got a vision for who you are? Like, when you think who's Des Hamilton, like who are you?
Yeah, it always goes back. It's the chatty working class guy that can be your friend. And
you still think of yourself as that? Yeah.
Yeah. I still think I would do. I would still class myself as working class in my heart. Because, and again, mate, this is wrong. I know it's wrong, because in my heart, working class means that you've got a better sense of community. I don't know that. I haven't been in an upper class society enough to know whether they got community. Just in the papers, no. The rich hate everyone when the poor actually like everyone. But that's not true. The poor hate everyone. It's crazy, man. So I've always classed myself as, the guy that you would throw into a room and get everyone talking. Yeah, there's some work that needs to be done, man.
Where are you going? Where do you want to go?
I don't know. I've often said 20 grand a month profit after tax. We could live on that, no bother at all. And I'd probably take my foot off if I can make that as easy as possible. If I can do that with 20% of the time, the podcast will be a hobby forever. But if I can scale up my Amazon business, which I probably won't do, it's sitting pretty at the moment. Again, I'm happy. But the personal branding, I'd love to go out on the public circuit and start talking more. But if there's opportunities that come up, I said it to my folks the other day. I said, I'm expecting to be a millionaire by the time I'm 50. And there's a bit of me that said, but you never wanted to be a millionaire. But the fact is, if it's coming, I'm not going to turn it down. All I want, mate, truly, truly want, is something to be proud of, something that my family can be proud of. And there's an exercise that I do all the time, and I saw this from another therapist guy. He basically said, close your eyes, take your deep breath, plant yourself, blah, 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 blah. Picture a door, and it can be any door, a door that's real or a door that's fake or a door from your past. You need to go up to that door, open it up. On the other side of that door is your dream life. What does that look like? What does it smell like? What are the colours? What is going on? Where are you? Where's your family? What is that dream life on the other side of that door? So it almost plays as a vision board. My one, it's my kitchen door that goes onto the back garden. And when I open it up, it's a big family barbecue with all of the wider big family and my 900 cousins. And we're there and my garden is outstanding with all of the lovely stuff going on. And it's just a community thing with the gate open that neighbours can come to. And I think that defines me better than most things.
See, I found that really interesting because a couple of times when I was asking you your vision and throughout the podcast, it's a lot of it's been based around money, monetary value, monetary goals. You said the 20,000 a month and stuff like that. But when you just told me about what you really want, it was nothing to do with money.
No.
Although the freedom's important to be able to do that. You opened the door and you had all your family there, and that was like ultimate freedom, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. And all of my affirmations, none of those are monetary based.
Do you think it's your fear from not having money when you're growing up that you're still maybe connected to the monetary?
It might be,
And all your goals are heading that way when maybe that's not.
No, it's interesting, isn't it? Because in the past, when anyone has ever asked me those questions, I never, ever say the money. And I wonder now whether I'm actually embracing, no, I do want the money. I wonder whether now that's a change.
You're like fighting with yourself.
Maybe, yeah, by saying, there's nothing wrong to wanting the money.
Of course not.
It is that I want, because that's what would give me that goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating. Because I hand on heart, I can't say if the money did come in, and again, we're talking if the money is going to come in, whether we're going to stay in that house. We've always said, we've got no reason to move, but all of a sudden, if you've got a couple of £1 million and there's a house down the road, you go, that's nice,
How often do you pinch yourself now? You must sit there, you must sit there in bed or something when you're on your own a few times and just go, what the hell is going on?
Mate,
with the success that you've had so fast.
Yeah, it's the little things. It's the craziest things. It's the lovely things. Like, again, being able to say yes to go to a Dubai trip on a Wednesday and we were off on the Sunday.
Yeah. Or even now, like you come all the way here from Brighton.
Exactly right.
Let's go a couple of podcasts together.
Dropped the kids off. I did about an hour on the computer. I did an advert, and then I jumped on the train, and here I am. It's crazy.
That freedom.
We woke up last week, me and the wife, and we're like, right, we've had a shocking day. What have you got in? And she had a few things, and I said, well, I've got a few things. So we just moved things around and go and have breakfast. And we sat and had breakfast, and I even did a post on it saying, this is nuts. Me and my brother, we go to a lot of live shows. Yeah, mate, we go to a lot of live shows, and we went up to Islington to see Ryan Adams, like a country singer-songwriter, and we stayed overnight. He had to get up early to go to work, and he works in London. And I'm just pottering around in this Airbnb till about 10 in the morning because I had nothing to go back for. It's that stuff. That's the pinch me stuff.
Yeah.
I bumped into a friend of mine who I used to work with every day. I bumped into him. I was at the gym. I went, hello, mate. how much time you got? And he went, well, none. I've only got a couple of hours and I've got to go back to work. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, it's like Tuesday mid-morning and I can do whatever the hell I like. It's funny because it's not the monetary stuff that makes me pinch myself. It is the time.
Do you know what I've got this a couple of times when I've been speaking to you, talking about old job, like what you just said, talking about having a job and having to go back to the job and stuff like that. I get this drop in my stomach, and I don't know what it is, but like in my stomach, this fear, this anxiety, the thought of having to work for someone else.
Yeah,
I've worked for someone since I was 19. You know, like I only had one job really, and it was just in a coffee shop. I get that fear, and I'm not sure what that is, but I just found that interesting because I'm definitely not the only one that probably gets that. You know,
no,
just
definitely
that
not.
Sunday nights used to be really high anxiety for me. The fear of having to go and do something I didn't want to do. Did you suffer with that?
I do now.
You do now.
It's nuts.
The thought of going back to that scares the crap out of me.
Yeah. Again, it goes back to that past version of you, your past life. I was there talking to my mate, Michael, his name. I was talking to Michael, and I instantly went back to the old version of me that worked with him. And I thought, no, I'm outgrown that geezer. That's not me anymore. And he said, how's business going? And I'm always quite bashful. How's business going? Yeah, it's going fine. I mean, the fact is I'm here on a Tuesday. I'm not panicking. You know, it's that sort of thing. But I went back and I said to Claire, he was telling me about work and he was telling me what the structure of the team was and how some people have moved onto this role and some people onto that role. And there was one part of me that thought, I don't give a shit. And there's another part of me that thought, my God, that was my life. And you're right. It was that you feel it in there, don't you? Bit like anyone that the kid that beat him up at school, and you see him now as an adult, you still get that childhood fear.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still, it was a feeling like that. And yeah, you're right. Not going back there. And if I did, my God, they would hate me.
So that's good. Now you've got that fear. Now we haven't got long left, just a few minutes, but I want to talk about that person. What I don't want to do, right, with this podcast is people listen to an episode of someone inspiring like yourself. I want this to be a bit more practical, you know. Someone sit there with inspiring like yourself, and then a bit of entertainment, bit of something to listen to, and then they go and back to the life that they're not very happy with. So, what would you say to the 22-year-old Des? You know? Like what the person that's listening to this that was you when they were there, or not even 22, you know, 32, 42, whatever. The person that hadn't taken the leap.
Yeah.
You know, like what would you say to that person?
Hands down, 100%. Figure out why you're getting going. If you're the 22-year-old version of me would have said, I want to make as much money as I possibly can.
Yeah.
That's not enough. That's not it. You need to anchor a reason. Why? What would that money get you? What is the purpose? Is it your mum and dad that have brought you up that you want to pay back? Is it a house that you want to move out to? So you've got a monetary value that you want to attain so you can move out. Is it a rent bill that you know that you want to hit every month? Being rich isn't enough. A status symbol isn't enough. It's got to be something in your heart. The 22-year-old version of me, it probably would have been about girls or family. But you need to figure that out. Again, the 30-year-old version of you, same sort of thing. Have you got kids at this point? Have you got a wife? Is it something you want to strive to have? Then what is it you want the money for? It's mostly time, isn't it? Let's be honest. And again, at 40, usually at 40, there's some sort of dependents that are reliant on you. And what I'm finding in my own podcast with the people that I speak to of my sort of generation, it is always getting your time back so you can spend it with the people that matter. Anchoring in the reason why you get going is everything. And we talk about personal branding. And yes, my personal branding was how I was going to present myself on camera. But it's also who you are. Who is it? When you're putting yourself out there even if you're an Amazon seller, eventually you're going to have to network and eventually you're going to have to present yourself as somebody. So who is that? Start thinking about yourself in that way. So are you hardworking? Are you family oriented? Are you based in values? What are your non-negotiables in terms of your health and your wealth and your happiness? Loads of little things like that you can figure out. So one, you can project it, but number two, just know who you are. I think that is vital.
Would you say then, once you've got all that stuff, then just pick a route that they should take down in terms of to exit their job, whether it could be building a personal brand to earn from affiliates or do the TikTok affiliates or do the Amazon selling? What would you say?
I mean, there's some people that enjoy their job and they just want an extra couple of £100, and I think that's really important as well. We all talk about these money in such fantastical terms, and we're lucky, you and I, where we're able to talk about these numbers and not be blown away by them.
Yeah.
But sometimes £500 can significantly change somebody's life.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of friends. They run a comedy TikTok channel. They've got 250,000 followers, the Steve-O's. They're brilliant. And I keep talking to them about monetizing their channel, but they really don't have any interest because they both love their jobs, love them, but they just want a couple of £100. I think, again, figure out what success is to you. Figure out how do you win? What is a win for you? And then you can figure out your model, because it could be something like TikTok Shop affiliate where £500 a month is fairly attainable after a few months. Or even Amazon FBA. If you're willing to build up your cash flow and put £5-6 grand a month in, £500, £600 profit, it's attainable, isn't it? But I would start thinking about that. Who you are, what is it you want to achieve, how much money do you need? And again, I would certainly start just dipping your fingers in as many pies as possible at a surface level to find out what sort of thing you actually want to go long term in.
That's what Gary Vaynerchuk says, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. He says, no, stop looking for your purpose, just test stuff.
Yeah. I mean, again, I started in January. I didn't actually go live on Amazon selling until September. I explored them all. Drop shipping, and this is it. Well, drop shipping's a scam. No, it's not. There's too many successful people. There are challenges, yes, but you can make it work depending on your capital and your drive and your action. It's the same. All of them are good. You just got to find the one that works for you. And once you do, go to fucking town on it.
Yeah, usually people think something's saturated when there's loads of people talking about it, but actually usually it means there's a big market there.
Yeah,
it's
that's
same
true.
with selling on Amazon, isn't it?
Exactly right.
It's because there's a lot of big market there. And then, and when the people come in to sell the courses on it and stuff, even if a lot of them are making more on the courses than they are on Amazon, or whatever it is, it shows you the market's there.
Absolutely.
But that's why they're selling you into it, because it's got to work at some level.
Absolutely,
Otherwise, they wouldn't get that retention.
Exactly. Exactly. And look at me, mate. I joined in 2022 and everything was oversaturated, and I somehow managed to carve a niche.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not impossible.
Amazing. Des, it's been amazing. We're going to end it there. Where can people find you?
Oh, mate. Goodbye, Poor Hello Rich. There are loads of bots pretending to be me. I'm the only one that spells it correctly with the correct grammar. Goodbye, Poor _Hello Rich on TikTok. Same on YouTube. Facebook, we are the Goodbye, Poor Hello Rich Facebook group. It's a picture of me and my wife. My podcast, the Goodbye, Poor Hello Rich show, on all of your podcasty places.
Such a great show.
Oh, thank you, mate.
I listen to it when I'm in the bath.
Oh, do you?
My guilty pleasure.
I'm going to picture that.
Yeah, try not to picture it.
But yeah, man, I'm everywhere. But yeah, thank you so much. I've loved it.
It's been really good, mate. Really good, yeah. Guys, make sure you go and follow Des on Spotify.
Spotify, and
Apple, all the major platforms, YouTube. Follow him on Instagram, all that sort of stuff. Subscribe to this channel as well. Follow this podcast as well.
Damn right.
Little chore to do there is the only thing we ask you. And we will see you next Thursday's episode. See you soon.